welcome to our very first podcast, episode 1. We have a special guest this evening, Mr. Mike Carew. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Wayne.
Welcome. All right.
Much rejoicing.
Yes. So you just released your 36th album called At the Front.
Correct.
All right. And that's very impressive. So we've worked together on 9 of your albums. And my first question is, what inspires you to write songs?
I think telling a story more than anything else.
Right.
Trying to describe what's not necessarily happening in my life, but maybe other people's lives. You know, how society works for some people and doesn't work for other people, you know. But basically it's just usually just telling a story about somebody, something, words, usually certain words, certain phrases placed in a certain way usually catch my ear because a lot of times they'll have double meanings.
Right.
And I always find that's something good to write about.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you have a formula for writing? Would you say like a set formula, or just kind of what processes for it?
I mean, there's a basic structure, you know, verse, chorus,
Right.
you know,
Right.
verse, chorus, or verse, chorus, chorus, or verse, chorus, then verse, and then we'll finish it with chorus. But every so often I try to break away from that because I find it to be somewhat too structured and a little boring. So
right.
Some cases I won't have a chorus,
Right.
you know. So I got to keep it interesting for myself as well.
For sure.
So I try not to repeat myself too much, but you know.
That's funny because the next question I was going to ask you is for repeating yourself when you've written this amount of material. You ever get concerned that you might repeat yourself, or?
Not really. Try not to. There was a time that I was quite concerned about it.
Yeah.
That I was reviewing my old material before moving forward on the other material, and did I write a song about this already? And you know, after a while, it was just like it became quite cumbersome,
right,
to try to review all these songs and make sure you're not repeating yourself. But I'm sure I have. I can almost guarantee that I have repeated myself.
Right.
But you know, this could have been a song I wrote, you know, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, you know, and now I'm writing one 20 years later. And although it may be the same subject matter, it's going to be from a different perspective.
Right.
So I think that's kind of, it's the same thing as being concerned about tunes sounding similar. You know, people have asked me about that as well. Do you find that, you know, your music, that you may be using the same patterns or the same chord formations or the same chord patterns, and therefore you're writing the same song over and over again? And that's possible, you know, definitely it's possible. But I find that when you think about it too much, you don't end up doing anything.
That's true.
That's true. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
And then the classic line, I don't know who said it. It was someone quite famous, a songwriter, that is saying that, you know, a lot of your songs sound similar. And he goes, well, that's my style.
Yeah.
So, right, you know, yeah, it's going to sound the same because it's coming from the same person. For sure, you're going to find similarities, you know.
It reminds me a bit of that story about the interview with Angus Young once, AC/DC. He was asked something about, so you've done the same album 18 times. He said, no, it's 19. So it's kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I read that you started writing songs at the age of 12 and performing at the age of 15. What were your early beginnings in music?
Well, Beatles, for sure. But I was also influenced by, there was also the comedic factor that I enjoyed. I enjoyed writing songs that were somewhat humorous, and so I was attracted to that as well. So there's artists like Roger Miller, who wrote some great songs, but he also was, also had some novelty songs, as they would call them,
Right.
Yeah. But I enjoyed them because I found them to be quite clever. The same way, it's not just being funny; it's being clever at the same time. So and there's Jim Stafford. I don't know if you're familiar with the song "My Girl Bill."
Oh yeah, I think you sent me that one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So it's
So it's stuff like that I was attracted to at a young age. But initially, it was rhyming, like just writing poetry, I guess.
Right.
So I didn't play an instrument when I was 12. No, but I was 12 or 13 or 14. I was writing stuff. And there was something about poetry that I liked. How I found it, I have no idea. I can't remember.
Right.
But it's kind of weird. I can still remember, showing my mom a poem that I wrote, and I was around 12 years old. And she was the one that actually commented, made that line. And I remember you showing me as a poem at, you were 12 years old. You're so I don't know where that came from, but what really accelerated it was when I was in high school, grade 9. I had, although I was writing songs at that stage, I had a English teacher who had an interesting way of teaching Shakespeare. So, because as a kid in grade 9, Shakespeare wasn't anything anybody wanted to do, or there was a negative feeling right out of the gate. So this teacher was quite inventive of trying to capture the kids' attention in regards to Shakespeare. So what he did is he initially explained to everyone that we're going to be doing poetry and we're going to be doing Shakespeare in this semester, and I'd like to start off by playing some music for you. So he played some Cat Stevens, and he made the comparison that Cat Stevens and Bob Dylan are the modern day poets.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And everyone went, oh,
right on. Yeah, there's definitely a correlation there for sure. Yeah. Did you have any musical influences in your family?
Yes, I did. On my mother's side, my mother came from a family of 14.
Oh,
8 brothers and five sisters. So almost every one of them had played an instrument at one time.
Wow, family that
they were in bands, and stuff like that. My father played harmonica.
Oh yeah.
And he was a bit of a joke teller. So
right,
a natural, entertainer, or kind of a thing.
Wow,
nothing professional, but just at parties and stuff. But wow. So yes, to a certain extent, there was. When I was wanting to learn how to play guitar, I had my at the time I had my parents pay for a ticket to fly me down to Nova Scotia and spend some time with my uncle and have him show me how to what I was doing wrong,
right,
more than anything else. So So yeah, so it was so definitely some connection there for sure.
So you lived in Boston for a while. How did you find that? Was it like something that you'd say maybe influenced your music to some degree? Like just being in a different city, a different place, being from Canada. Just,
Well, not really. I mean, it is obviously the culture is a bit different, and I remember. I mean, Boston and Montreal aren't that far away from each other. It's like a 5-hour drive. So, long weekends or holidays, I would always drive home and visit my friends, and they would ask me the same question. What's it like living in the States? And I'm like, oh, it's pretty good.
Almost like driving to Seattle from here.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah. So it's and I used to comment, it's pretty good, except there's way too many Americans there. But anyways, that was something I would comment about. But I mean, when you think about it's a different culture. I was there for 9 years.
Wow.
I went to school and got my degree at night at Northeastern University in business. So, I was pretty busy when I was there, and but in the end, I missed Canada, right? Not necessarily Montreal, but Canada. I missed. There's this very different atmosphere in America as compared to Canada,
for sure.
So, and I just didn't feel I felt like I fit, right? And so, so I just, once I got I was finished school, I moved back and out here to BC. And
right. Wow. Great. So where can your viewers find your music? So your website, what's your website address?
Oh, mycarew.com. You can find it there, and so, or pretty much any streaming site, right? And go to, the top, Spotify, and YouTube Music, and Amazon, and Deezer, and God knows how many other.
Wow, there's lots of them.
So, I mean, just go to one of their sites and type my name in, and I should probably pop up. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what's next for you? Is there more music being released?
Well, I'm working on an album now.
Yeah.
Carry With You, that's the name of the album. It's being mixed right now, so I expect to release that in May.
Okay. Wow.
I'm writing some new songs now for probably an album in 2026, and then I got a bit of a backlog. So
wow.
Yeah, right now I have enough material for not counting the one that's being 2 more albums. So.
Wow.
I just need to work my way through it. And,
Yeah.
And the problem is I'm still writing. So
yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to catch up.
Yeah. So ideally, it would be good to do a couple albums a year for a couple of years. I think if I get 2 more albums out in 2026, I should be caught up. But
interesting.
All right. So, how about we play a couple songs?
Sure.
Yeah, great. Cool.
All right.
When you're explaining, you're never gaining. No matter how hard on those bootstraps you keep pulling. Do they not understand what they're saying? Or is it all on purpose and they know what they're doing? Figures don't lie, but all liars figure. Is that a strange view or a misleading picture? Not showing the full trend, jeopardizing the future. In time it will bury everything and everyone under. It goes without saying, then what is said? Are they pretending or playing to keep overabundance fed? As the less fortunate, well, they never stop paying, as it continues to go without saying. If there was no knowledge, it was new, just came about, then maybe it's worth the benefit of doubt. But who decides and passes it all out? Will they not do when it's all dried up, a permanent drought? Can it be stopped or something changed? But all those forces don't want options named to continue as it was in the before time. A strong feeling of deja vu with a touch of decline. If it goes without saying, then what is said? Are they pretending or playing to keep overabundance fed? As the less fortunate, well, they never stop paying, as it continues to go without saying. If it goes without saying, then what is said? Are they pretending or playing to keep overabundance fed? And the less fortunate, well, they never stop paying, as it continues to go without saying. Standing up become very difficult. Sitting down is better, but it doesn't stop it. Walking is a zigzag adventure that I gotta fight. Being still is a vague memory before you fell into my sight. Yes, it put me in a spin. It was bad. Didn't matter where I've been or what I had. My whole body was lost to another soul, one that was kind of familiar, but I didn't really know. Everything was swaying, whatever could it be? What is it that making me so dizzy? I wish I knew what to do, but I get dizzy. Yes, I get dizzy. Ooh, I get dizzy when I'm next to you. You make me dizzy. Will it fade with some time, somehow straighten out all those crooked things in my mind. Then I can finally look you straight in the eye and ask you if you wanna give this thing a try. Everything was swaying, everyone could see. I think I know what's making me dizzy. I wish I knew what to do, but I get dizzy. Yes, I get dizzy. Ooh, I get dizzy when I'm next to you. You make me dizzy. I said I would, and I will. Unfortunately, all movement has been uphill, and the wind hasn't been blowing our way. Until it does, well, here we will stay. I said I would, and I will. No one likes an answer that starts with until. But it's truly the best way to do this. Wait for the right time. Oh yeah, reduce the risk. I said I would, and I will. Eventually, we will get our just desert filled. But it's a dangerous and treacherous climb, and safety should be at the forefront of our mind. But time keeps moving on and has no preference of belong. All this effort to get's what's best. Can't give up, it's right there over the crest. I said I would, and I will. It all makes sense, or if we have to, stay still. Patience, what we must lean into to get to the place we both want to. I said I would, and I will. This is not something that's all or nil. Wherever we end up is where we will be, as long as I got you and you got me. I said I would, and I will. This all comes natural. No, 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 it's nothing or nil. Wherever we end up is where we should be, as long as I got you and you got me. I said I would, yeah, and I will.
Yeah, thank you for joining us on the very first Saturn's Child Recordings podcast. My special guest is Mike Carew. And thanks again, Frank.
Yeah.
Thanks. And the interview and main tunes and looking forward to doing some of this stuff live.
Yeah. Yeah. March 6th
At the Blarney Stone.
at the Blarney Stone. Yep. Yep.
Be there or be square.
Yes. Tickets available. Go to the website.
MikeCarew.com.
Yes, MikeCarew.com. Yes. Yeah.